Okay, so this is the Yellow Belly boss fight, which honestly is just incredibly bizarre from a design perspective. His character design I find hard to describe because it seems to be something that curbs off of a stereotype or a cliche that lots of other people use, but I can't remember what the hell the cliche is supposed to be. He looks like a couple Dr. Mario pills smushed together with stinger arms. I know that other characters have had stinger arms before, but again, I can't think of who originated this stereotype, but it seems to be a lot more generic than it should be, even though that's just the least of it, honestly. The gameplay is where things really go off the rails and make zero sense. Because from the way that I played it, it seems like the strategy is that when Yellow Belly gets close to the ground, you have to ground pound it in the head and not just jump on it. And then you also have to avoid him entirely the bottom of the sprite, because if you hit that, then you're gonna get stung, which will just float you away from the boss fight as an insta-fail maneuver. Because this is just the cliche that Wario Land 3 is going with, just insta-fail the boss all the time. But that's not what makes this weird. What makes it weird is what follows. If you're able to jump or ground pound on Yellow Belly, it will then spawn a springboard from the top of the screen, and then you ground pound that to actually do damage to Yellow Belly, which is just him inflating until he pops. So even though he looks like a bunch of Dr. Mario pills, he's actually some sort of convoluted balloon creature. This was a Japanese production, so I'm sure people are going to give it a slide, but I can't even pin down how I feel about him, because Yellow Belly is just that out of the box, that crazy, and just odd all the way down. Like, I don't really know what to say about it, because when you go this oddball, it's kinda hard to have an opinion about it. And it just feels like you're doing a weird thing for the weird thing's sake, but then again, Yellow Belly is gonna stand out just because of that. Even though the gameplay isn't amazing, it's a really short boss fight if you know what you're doing, just because Yellow Belly moves fast enough that he's able to get around the screen quickly. His attack doesn't really have an effective range. He's not all that good at it because he doesn't animate, he doesn't change his sprite, so the attack is always the same, and it's just you have to avoid it all the way through the boss fight. This guy isn't like Shoot, where you screw it up and then you could be in the boss fight for 5 minutes. You either get thrown out of the arena immediately, or you beat the boss fight within 90 seconds on the clock. It's not the best way to go when designing a boss, but like I've said in other videos, Wario Land 3's boss roster is definitely one of the low points of its design. Like, Nintendo Handheld is not really trying, and when they try hard and get something as out of the box as Yellow Belly, it's just weirdness for weirdness' sake, and I don't know what the hell they were actually thinking with this. It feels like they were so bored at this point making obligatory boss fights that they went with just the craziest idea whoever had at the time and didn't think it through until it was too late and we got the set piece anyway.